that unfolds and fulfills and expands out of the recognition of what you are, your basic origin, and your essential nature. Once you've got that down and you live it to the fullness, you will definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, be everything you can be and be living a spiritual life. Last week we talked about what you are. In other words, to know thyself. Well, I guess that opened up a lot of questions with a lot of you. I had one lady absolutely call me and was saying, well, how does this work? And how does that work? And why? And I explained, there is a time that I do a class, a very intensive class. It's like a seminar. It takes 3 full days. I call that class the Secrets, Mysteries, and Solutions, and of course reveal a lot about each other and yourself during that class. It's very intense and very expensive. It's not a free class. And I hear when we do this, we have about 5 minutes, and I try to keep it short so that we don't take up all your time on the internet, and we try to make it as entertaining as possible so that you can enjoy it. And if you want more information, every week I do a much longer thing over on TONT, TONT.org. That stands for the Temple of Due Thought. And I'm always in a different spot. Last week I was in the Babam, because it was a real revelation that went along with what I talked about. So you learn a little more. But because of the lack of time, there's just no way I can get into the nitty-gritty details. Let me assure you that life is simple, and God made it a simple creation for you, and the basic things are what I tell you. And the basic never, ever changes. The basic truth is always the same, and that's simply to love thy neighbor as thyself, to love, express love, give love, be love. And when things happen and you put love in action, you just can't go wrong. You know, to accept what happens to you with love is sometimes very difficult to do, especially if you don't understand why it or how it's happening. And there again, this is like the lady that called me because she couldn't accept what was happening to her at the time. As we talked about it, we revealed what was happening to her and how and why, but we couldn't go into a lot of detail. I won't go into a lot of detail over the telephone, and I also can't hear for the same reason, lack of time. But if we ever get around doing another intensive class like that, I'll certainly announce it on this website, and you'll have an opportunity to come to it and share with it and enjoy. You learn no more than just a lot. You really delve into reasons and why and wherefore, and in your own personal life, and why you're doing what you're doing, and why you've been what you've been, and where you're going to be what you're being. And that's an important and good thing for all of us to know. One last thought here on this is that if you're living a spiritual life, you are fulfilled, and you have to be happy. If you're not happy in any way, shape, or form, and having fun, you got to have fun. Life was meant to be enjoyed. It's the living of it that makes it so enjoyable. The destination, we talked about that a little last week too, where all religions tell you that, well, you got to die to get your reward. No, you don't. But that's what they say. And those are things you need to learn and to work with. And once you know the truth, and then you have to reason it for yourself. Now, I don't want to interfere with your belief system. If you want to believe a certain way or be in a certain group, that's fine with me too, and anybody else wouldn't interfere at all. But I will tell you this. There's more to life than rules and regulation. There's more to life than pomp and splendor. There's more to life than just worshiping God. Don't you agree with that? Now, I'm not against worshiping. Man needs to express gratitude and worship. That's fine too. I'm not against any of those things. I'm all for them. But they're not the necessity of life. living love. That's the necessity. Next week we'll continue with this. I want to get into the details of how the religions were formed and how what man has done to corrupt them, if it anything at all. And God bless you all. See you next week.